There is a critical development in Kerala politics that demands our attention and careful consideration. The Congress-led United Democratic Front's decision to accept support from openly Islamist groups in the Nilambur Assembly by-election has sparked a heated controversy, raising serious questions about the balance between electoral strategy and the principles of secularism that Kerala holds dear. Reports from various sources detail the UDF's alliances with organizations like the Welfare Party of India and the Social Democratic Party of India, moves that have ignited a fierce debate across the state. Today, we'll explore every facet of this issue, examining its implications for Kerala's political landscape and the social harmony that defines this vibrant state. The controversy erupted when the Welfare Party of India, the political wing of Jamaat-e-Islami, announced its unconditional support for the UDF's candidate Aryadan Shukat in the Nilambur by-election. WPI's state president, Rasak Paleri, framed this decision as a strategic effort to defeat the ruling Left Democratic Front, citing widespread public dissatisfaction with the communist government. However, this alliance with a group tied to Jamaat-e-Islami has drawn sharp criticism. The CPI-M-led LDF has accused the UDF of abandoning its secular credentials by aligning with what they describe as communal forces. CPI-M State Secretary M.V. Govindan went so far as to say that by accepting WPI's support, the UDF has lost the right to speak against communalism. In an ironic twist, the CPI-M itself has accepted support from another Islamist outfit, the Madani-led PDP, in the same bipole, but insists that Jamaat-e-Islami's ideology is far more communal and dangerous, highlighting the complex dynamics at play in Kerala's political arena. Adding to the complexity is the role of the Social Democratic Party of India, often described as the political arm of the banned radical outfit PFI. In past elections, the SDPI had refrained from fielding candidates and quietly supported UDF contenders. But in Nilambur, it chose to nominate Sadiq Nadutodi, marking a significant shift. This decision is seen as a critique of the UDF's reliance on minority communal votes, breaking from previous patterns of tacit support. In the 2024 Palakkad by-election, for example, SDPI cadres openly celebrated the Congress candidate's victory, suggesting their backing was instrumental. Kerala's Minister M.B. Rajesh called this a warning to secular Kerala, pointing to SDPI's radical Islamic agenda. By welcoming WPI's support and implicitly relying on SDPI's influence, the UDF has opened itself to accusations of compromising its principles for electoral gain. The BJP has capitalized on this, accusing Congress of appeasing extremist elements and questioning why it engages with groups linked to the banned PFI. The UDF's weak response, avoiding a clear rejection of SDPI's support to maintain Muslim voter support, has fueled perceptions of a Faustian bargain with hardline Islamist organizations. Central to this controversial realignment is the Indian Union Muslim League, the UDF's second-largest constituent and a powerful force in Kerala's Muslim community. Political observers note that the IUML's leadership under Panakan Syed Sadiq Ali Thangal has played a pivotal role in fostering ties with Jamaat-e-Islami and SDPI. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has alleged that the IUML and UDF have stooped to being subservient to these groups, suggesting that the Muslim League's pursuit of votes has eroded its moderate stance. Sadiq Ali Thangal's actions lend weight to these claims. In October 2023, he led a massive IUML-organized rally in Kozhikode to protest Israel's actions in Gaza, drawing tens of thousands in what became India's largest pro-Palestine demonstration. At the event, Thangal labeled Israel the biggest terrorist nation in the world, accusing the Indian government of whitewashing its genocide. When Congress MP Shashi Tharoor cautiously referred to Hamas as terrorists, IUML's M.K. Munir rebuked him, equating Hamas militants to freedom fighters like Bhagat Singh and framing their actions as resistance akin to India's struggle against British rule. Thangal led the crowd in prayers for Palestine, positioning the rally as a show of IUML's strength and alignment with the resistance. This rhetoric indicates that the IUML is not distancing itself from radical Islamist politics, but embracing it. By championing the narratives of Jamaat-e-Islami and SDPI and facilitating electoral tie-ups with their political fronts, Thangal has blurred the lines between the IUML and more extreme groups. Reports suggest that WPI's support in Nilambur was arranged at IUML's insistence, as the Muslim League seeks to unite Muslim factions under the UDF to strengthen its electoral prospects. Critics argue that Tangal is banking on Islamist unity, even if it means normalizing groups perceived as fundamentalist, a move that risks reshaping the IUML's once moderate identity and altering the UDF's broader coalition dynamics. The UDF's alliances have not gone unnoticed by Kerala's Christian and Hindu communities, who form the majority of the population. Christian leaders, particularly from the influential Catholic Church, have raised significant concerns. Catholic bishops have warned that political Islamists are hijacking the Palestine issue, with both the UDF and LDF competing to appease these narratives. Bishop Thomas Tharail criticized mainstream parties for blaming only Israel while portraying Hamas's attacks as defensive, a distortion he attributes to radical influences. This stance aligns closely with the BJP's perspective, marking a rare point of agreement. The church has openly opposed the pro-Hamas rhetoric of both fronts, viewing the UDF's ties with Jamaat and SDPI as a threat to Kerala's secular fabric. Hindu community voices share similar worries. CPIM leaders like MB Rajesh have called SDPI's celebration of a Congress victory shocking, while Chief Minister Vijayan cautioned that minority communalism, as seen in the UDF's alliances, could fuel Hindu communalism. The BJP has been more direct, accusing Congress of surrendering to SDPI and Jamaat pressures, using this to rally Hindu voters by highlighting risks to national unity and security. The open sympathy for Hamas among the UDF's new allies has amplified this backlash. Both Jamaat-e-Islami's WPI and SDPI have championed the Palestinian cause in ways that many interpret as endorsing Hamas. In October 2023, SDPI organized protests across Kerala, with leaders like Muvattupuja Ashraf Mulavi publicly supporting Hamas's armed resistance. Banners glorifying Hamas leaders and slogans celebrating resistance unsettled Hindu and Christian communities, who see such rhetoric as incompatible with India's democratic ethos. At the IUML's Kozhikode rally, the reluctance to condemn Hamas, coupled with Munir's defense of its actions, further alarmed moderates. For Kerala's Christians, who are aware of global Christian persecution under Islamists, this pro-Hamas stance is deeply troubling. A Catholic priest noted that portraying Hamas's atrocities as defensive is perverse and driven by political Islamists gaining influence in the UDF. Hindus, meanwhile, view this as borderline anti-national, fueling narratives that Congress will align with anti-India elements for votes, deepening communal divides. The Nilambur by-election serves as a testing ground, but its implications could reverberate through the upcoming Panchayat elections and the 2026 Assembly polls. If the UDF secures a win with Jamaat and SDPI support, it may formalize such tie-ups in future elections. UDF insiders suggest that, at IUML's urging, the front is considering understandings with WPI and SDPI in select local bodies to consolidate Muslim votes. However, this strategy risks alienating Hindu voters, already a weak link for the UDF, who may shift toward the BJP or LDF. The CPIM is capitalizing on this, positioning itself as a secular alternative while downplaying its own ties with groups like the PDP. The BJP, meanwhile, is actively courting disillusioned Christians, noting that the church's criticism of the UDF's pro-Hamas stance aligns with its own views. This could foster an unprecedented Hindu-Christian alignment against the UDF, a shift that would have been unthinkable in Kerala's political history until now. Within the UDF, there is growing unease. Congress has historically balanced secularism with appeals to minority votes, but its open association with Islamist groups is unprecedented. Some leaders worry that this tarnishes the party's national image and alienates centrist voters across Kerala and beyond. A swing of Christian or moderate votes to the LDF or BJP in upcoming elections would serve as a clear rebuke to the UDF's strategy. Any campaign-related violence or controversy involving SDPI or Jamaat cadres could become an election flashpoint, putting the UDF on the defensive. The risk of communal polarization looms large, threatening the harmony the UDF claims to champion and potentially reshaping Kerala's electoral landscape. To fully grasp the gravity of this situation, let's reflect on the broader context. Kerala has long prided itself on its pluralistic culture, where diverse communities coexist in relative harmony. The UDF's alliances, however, risk disrupting this delicate balance. By aligning with groups that openly support Hamas and espouse Islamist agendas, the UDF is not only inviting criticism from political rivals, but also alienating key voter bases. The Catholic Church's warnings, coupled with concerns from Hindu leaders, signal a growing unease that could shift electoral dynamics. The UDF strategy may yield short-term gains in areas like Nilambur, but it risks long-term losses if it continues to prioritize electoral arithmetic over its commitment to secularism. The stakes are high as Kerala approaches the Panchayat elections and the 2026 Assembly polls. If the UDF continues down this path, it may face a backlash from voters who value Kerala's inclusive ethos. The CPI-M and BJP are already positioning themselves to exploit this discontent, with the former appealing to secular voters and the latter targeting both Hindu and Christian communities. The UDF's challenge is to navigate this complex terrain without further eroding its credibility. Backtracking on these alliances could alienate Muslim voters, but persisting with them risks further polarization. The decisions made now will have lasting consequences for the UDF's political future and Kerala's social fabric. In conclusion, the UDF's alliances with Jamaat-e-Islami and SDPI-linked groups represent a high-stakes gamble with far-reaching consequences. While these partnerships may secure votes in Muslim-dominated areas like Nilambur, the long-term costs could be substantial. By legitimizing radical forces, the UDF risks undermining its secular ethos and alienating Hindu and Christian voters who form the backbone of Kerala's diverse society. Community leaders, from the Catholic Church to secular civil society, warn that this could erode Kerala's pluralistic culture as mainstream parties compete to appease Islamist narratives. The UDF faces a critical dilemma: continue these alliances and risk a voter backlash, or backtrack and potentially lose Muslim support to the LDF. Kerala's example illustrates a broader truth. Pandering to one form of extremism can fuel others, threatening the state's social equilibrium. The Congress and IUML must carefully reconsider this path to preserve Kerala's inclusive harmony and secure their electoral future. The choices made now will shape not only the UDF's fate, but also the communal balance of Kerala for years to come.